He's a winner. I tried to tell you, he's just a winner. He gives that aura. I want everyone in the NFL, every fan to get to meet this JJ McCarthy. And you will also know, as I did in a hot, humid Mayakoba months ago. And everyone, I keep talking about it. Yeah, because out of 100 freaking star athletes in the NFL, Pro Bowlers, Super Bowl champions, JJ McCarthy stood alone. He stood out to me with the way he carries himself. And we got more than a taste of that last night. It was almost cooler to see what he did off the field in the in-betweenies than what he did on the field in that fourth quarter. He just makes everybody feel away. It's just true. We've got so much to get to. He becomes, and these Vikings, congrats to them this morning, the first quarterback, JJ McCarthy, young McCarthy, in 40 years to pull off a double-digit comeback in his debut. That will not soon leave the minds of NFL fans, nor will it leave the minds of Chicago Bears fans. We'll get into it. I might be a little Pollyanna on Chicago. There's some goodness to take out of this. You almost beat the Vikings, and you've made a bunch of bad mistakes. And penalties and just weird things were happening, but you still almost won. There's good there too. I'm very excited to welcome, as I thought the Vikings would take this game. We extended the invite, and here comes Hall of Famer Jared Allen to discuss not only this Vikings game, but a bunch of storylines. And it's nice to call the guy a Hall of Famer. We also have Delanie Walker, Titans legend, on the show. What's going on? I want to go to the Bay. What does the Kittle injury mean? He, of course, knows Arthur Smith in and out. How's it going with Aaron Rodgers? Looks pretty good after those 4 touchdowns. He's just a winner. And I can't wait to have Jared Allen in here. Just hopefully, I want him like on a horse, celebrating, dancing, going in circles, making the horse go up on its hind legs like they do in all the movies, just celebrating what this must freaking feel like if you're a Vikings fan. You know what greatness is. You know what it feels like. You know what it feels like to win tons of games, but to win the clutch one, the big one, the first one as a starter in the fashion. I got to say, and we've seen comebacks. We've seen comebacks from Jordan Love. We've seen comebacks from Jared Goff. Of course, the Texans come to mind. He threw 5 picks. He comes back. But this one was so bad for 3 quarters that you thought to yourself, there's no way that somebody could have the intestinal fortitude, the guts, the balls to come out and turn this around and have their way with this Bears defense in the fourth quarter. And then, you know, who did know that would happen? Me, because JJ McCarthy's a winner. And I feel a little braggadocious about this morning because I knew it would happen. Did you see any negative tweets flying from my handle for 3 quarters? No, not at all, because slow and steady, and then he freaking attacks. And that is what happened. We had these week 1 games were so delightful and terrifying. And, we're all collectively losing years off the old life to these performances. But my goodness, it was lifeless from the Vikings. And this was maybe shaping up to be like the roughest debut from a rookie quarterback that we have seen ever, potentially. And then, oh my gosh, it was just the Michigan guy all over again, right? And the guy that we all expected all along shows up in the fourth quarter. And I don't know why. That's not for me. I didn't play the game. I don't know what's going on. Just me watching. I couldn't even tell what really changed. Did he need to get hit a little bit? Did something click? Jared Allen, a Hall of Famer, will answer that for me. I have no idea. But he just took control. I know that. That was clear. Look at him, okay? Look at him right here. This is the man who I met in Mayakoba. No, we don't have to. Where's the face? Do we have a face? No? There it is. Look at this. This is it. I don't have to talk. That's it. That is the face of a guy who you want to be on his team. You don't want to go against his team. I love that. There are stories coming out, and I'm going to make it, I'll leave the X's and O stuff to Jared Allen, as it were. It's the other stuff. It's the hearing about him going up to the teammates in the huddle and saying, do you know what he said? Is there any place you'd rather be? That is the most Jim Harbaugh, meets Tom Brady, meets like they're down big. He's rallying the guys. It's giving 28-3. Okay. This is a winner. He's just a little bit different. And you can tell everything by all of his teammates and what they were like around him, and especially in the locker room afterwards. And I don't know what was going on. It was the lack of preseason reps, fair indictment. They decided to do the sort of Sean McVay in, Kevin O'Connell Ian, like we're not playing guys in the preseason. There's a risk. We don't need to do that. Maybe it was that. I mean, he hasn't played a real game in 20 months. Does that lead to that kind of a start? Looking a bit overwhelmed? I don't know. Does it matter now? I don't know. Is the Band-Aid ripped off? The rust is gone? Who cares? The dust is off. Like everything that happened before that fourth quarter is dust, vaporized, in my opinion. To pull off this level of comeback in a division game on the road, bright lights, prime time. That's all we need to know here. This was about as memorable a comeback as any current NFC North quarterback has given me in my memory. Okay. And I will also say it's not just JJ. Credit to Brian Flores, Vikings defense. They did what we told Chris Carter, Hall of Famer, yesterday and discussed with him that they do. They really dialed it up in the second half. They put the clamps on Caleb and Ben Johnson after that really beautiful opening drive that the Bears had that got us all excited. He dialed up the pressure. He made Caleb look less and less comfortable as the game went on, and it was masterful. And I thought Kevin O'Connell, good as it gets down the stretch, like nicest guy ever, but a dog. Okay. Situational awareness. He's communicating. Him and Ty Chandler, the kickoff return. What a psycho. What a total sicko. I loved it. And, yeah, I don't know if I've ever, yeah, Hamilton, had I ever seen that before? Had you ever seen that before?
I mean, ESPN did a fantastic job capturing this too. I don't know that I've ever seen that. And just the awareness to know in that situation, let's make sure he returns this ball so that the Bears can't get the ball back. They would have had a chance to get the ball back with about a minute left if Chandler takes a knee in the end zone there. Instead, they get the ball back with like 10 seconds to go. And that really ended up making the difference at the end of the game.
That was the one where I was like texting you, like, I don't know what's that quite. Can you explain what is happening here? But I can explain to you what's happening on FanDuel Sportsbook right now. The Vikings jumped the Lions. They have the second best odds to win the NFC North on FanDuel Sportsbook. Packers faves at -120, Minnesota +290, Detroit +410. Bears drop all the way down to +1000. And if you're a Bears fan, here's what you're thinking. This is what I told on the production call. If you're a Bears fan, you're going into last night and you're saying, I just want it to be different. Is it finally, that's the excitement. Those are the nerves. Is it finally time for it to be different? And on the opening drive, similarly to that preseason game that we all got so excited about, 38 to zip over the Bill, that opening drive, beautiful drive, then you're like, oh my gosh, it's going to be different. And you're like starting to cry, like, it's finally going to be different. Jay Cutler. Or in like, you're, like, Greg's gross when you're crying about it, as one should if you're a Bears fan. And then it just sort of ends up not being different. It was not different enough to make us happy, being as impatient and hungry as we are. It's just true if you're from Chicago. And the vibes were high, but 127 penalties, that's not going to do it. The missed field goal, not going to do it. Game management issues at the end, not going to do it. But I will say I'm going to be positive on the Bears here. First of all, they almost won. It wasn't Hamilton. I'm going to bring you in here quickly. He wasn't like making dumb choices, Caleb. He wasn't like there were things like the things that were problems were fixable.
Yeah, I do believe so. And I gotta, I'll get back and watch some of the tape too to see some of the stuff that happened. If he could have gotten the ball out faster at a few moments, but he was great off script, off platform. He made some incredible throws. There were things later in the game that you would have liked to see him clean up, but there were positives still to take away from this game from my vantage point.
And then he had Brian Flores. I mean, we're not making excuses, but there's stuff to build off of here. So did it feel different? It did not. And Bears fans have every right to be, I would say, like, doubting the regime. I think until it's proved, right? But I do think that the things that looked bad and the reasons that they lost this game maybe don't get fixed overnight, and it might take a little time. The thing that really I didn't like at all is just sort of the look of what's the word for it? Like jitters, maybe, or like the look of what I would only be able to describe maybe as like overwhelm, like just the look of like, that I don't like in a week one by any quarterback ever. or a team ever. And so like that, I think that, but we got to build off this, right? This is, they've got the Lions on Sunday. The Lions, a huge game for Ben Johnson. Of course, I talked to those wide receivers, Roma Dunze and DJ Moore, about what that means for them to win this one for their new head coach who left there, of course. One of these teams is going to fall to 0-2. We already had Dan Campbell saying we're going to win. We have to win. We have to win that one. Detroit, by the way, an early 4.5-point fave over on FanDuel Sportsbook this morning. Short break here. We will welcome in Hall of Famer Jared Allen. I like all the extracurriculars. Maybe Jared will get into the X's and O's. How the hell does this happen in the fourth quarter? How does this happen? We'll get back to the show after. Do we have Jared there? Where should we move out of, boys?
Okay. I moved into the D for now.
We could do it in a break, maybe?
And we could do that. Or yeah, we could either we could do that. We could do it in the D, or we could do it tomorrow.
No, I want to do them today.
You want to do it today? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If we say, if we can save a little time at the end of the show, because I think, usually like to talk with guests through the breaks.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't want to know, but is Jared Allen on a horse, like I asked?
I don't know. I haven't seen him, which makes me think there's a chance.
What did you even call it's so funny. Like I can't even put sentences together about horses. I know so little. I'm like, take the horse around on a victory lap. My equestrian vernacular is suboptimal, beyond. It's under the earth's crust, the bar for me to talk horse. I know nothing.
I think that's fair. You grew up in Chicago. It's not like
I think I think my family had a horse. I think they had in communist Poland, they all shared a horse. There was a community horse on the farm. I should know a little bit more about horses.
Yeah.
I know they do those horse therapies where you have to try to get them to lift their hoof. You do. You try to get them to trust you. You've never seen that, the equestrian,
no.
Because you're not a woman in her 30s. That's.
Y'all know what time it is? Dub City! Yeah!
We know the way you guys work, the way you train. We wanted it. We needed it. We got it.
Hey, we're back. We're back. Give me the phone. Hey, Bucks win, baby. Hey!
All right, I gotta get a game ball. First win. First dub. Got to defend home field. We did good. Dub.
Way to fight, man. Way to fight. We know how this is in this league, man.
It's a dub!
On the road, Tampa Bay, 1-0.
Hey, 1-0. 1-0.
And the Bills with a stunning comeback win.
This is what we envisioned in January, okay?
Yes, sir.
It's happening here in September. Gonna go on forever!
Thought the boys did pretty damn good. First one so far. Appreciate y'all boys for coming out.
Let's go!
Puka Nakua's bleeding from his entire face so that his eyeball was gouged out. You have JJ McCarthy at the end there. Best week one ever. Not so fast. We're here on Tuesday, and it is the best week because It's really nice that even though he's now a Hall of Famer officially, and we can introduce him as such, as deserved, you didn't big time me. You're not too cool now to come join the Little Up and Adam show. Jared, appreciate you and good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on. Always a pleasure.
Is it different? Does it feel different now that it's Hall of Fame?
No, nope. Just more requirements of things that interrupt my schedule, basically. Yeah.
Oh no, that's the worst. You're like, take this jacket back. You're smiling, and I know why, because this game was drunk. This game had a couple cocktails, a couple bourbons or something.
Gosh, I tell you what, this week, I'll be honest, week one, I fell in love with football again. I mean, after the Bills game, I thought that was the greatest game I'd ever seen. And by the end of the third quarter, I was ready to I'm like, well, I'm going to be talking some lot of crap about the Vikings come tomorrow. And then they came back, and that's why we play the game of football. It's moments like that. It's awesome.
I think a lot of people were like, man, other sports don't stand a chance. Like we try with other things in the offseason, but wow, the NFL is NFLing right now. And Minnesota, of course, it's 21 fourth quarter points. JJ, first career start. When you're watching let's start with the first three quarters. Are you giving up hope? How are you feeling in those first three quarters? And what's going through your mind?
Everybody was asking me, how do you think they're going to do? And I'm like, dude, historically, we do not play well in Chicago. Brett didn't even win in Chicago when we were there, when he was with us in 2009. We lost in overtime that year. I don't think we won one game in Chicago, my 6 years in Minnesota. So it doesn't really matter what the team structures are. The Vikings in Chicago have never been historically great, at least in recent years. So that was an insanely challenging task for McCarthy to step into in the first place. And then for it to go the way it did for three quarters, you're like, oh my gosh, this might be too big for the kid. And then for him to come back the way he did really shows why everybody was excited for him in Minnesota. It really showed, the type of character it takes to go out and be a winner. And that was what he was about, right? Wins in high school, wins in college, you got to bring it on and win in the NFL. And he showed that type of character, that type of moxie, that type of resilient, kind of spirit to go out and get it done.
From a football perspective, from a Hall of Fame perspective, what the hell happened in the fourth quarter?
You know what? I think he settled down. I mean, you're getting your butt kicked. At some point, there's two types of people in this world. People that get slapped and they duck and they just don't fight back and they sit there and like, okay, let me wait till the beating's done. They're going to play dead. And there's people with backs against the wall that fight back. And I think that's what happened. I think they looked at it like, we can't play any worse. So let it go. Let's go start punching back and see where we end up. And you saw what happened. They started punching back. They started running the ball. The trenches got involved up front defensively, started making stops. They started putting the Bears behind the chains. And it was a totally different team. And it was great to see. I mean, from a coaching standpoint that you're going to get consistency, right? With McCarthy and Flores, with O'Connell and Flores. I mean, you're going to get the same coaching staff. You're going to call the game the way they're going to call the game. And I think the players just, stepped up and decided to say, hey, all right, we've taken enough beatings. Let's go give a few ourselves.
I mean, rookies, I haven't done the math on this. Rookies, it's hard to win your first game. Caleb won his first game last year, but if you look at like the Strouds, you lose your first game, it's tough to win and overcome. And then this sort of a thing, like what it takes to like dig deep and do that is sort of one thing. What does it say about him? Like, what's the most impressive part of his performance outside of like that grit, that resilience, being able to get up off the mat?
I think that's what it says about him. Honestly, I think what you saw is what you got. And I think it shows the type of character he has, the type of man he is. I mean, again, Sam Darnold had a fantastic year for us last year, but in that last game against the Lions, when they hit the crap out of him, you're like, oh man, this dude looks a little shook, right? There was times where, and look what the Rams did in the playoff game. They took that same model. Let's put pressure on him, push pressure on him. And his eyes are going to come off the receivers, are going to come down to the rush. And, McCarthy looked the opposite of that, to be honest with you. I mean, that dude was just getting beat down. He throws a pick six. And then he wants to go and tell his lineman, like, trust me, and I'll be honest. If a rookie quarterback throws a pick six, then he tries to come over and talk to me about, hey, give me the ball back. I got your back. I'm like, sit your ass down. We're going to do it ourselves over here, So it just shows the kind of character he has, the kind of leadership he has. And then ultimately the trust that his teammates have in him to go out and respond like that,
Right.
You look at Justin
But why
Jefferson.
does that work, Jared? I was thinking this morning. I'm talking, and it's like Javon Hargrave is 32 years old. You're going up to him and saying like, we're going to be okay. Like, get out. Like you look like crap for three quarters, kid. Like, get the F out of here. And that what is it about him? Why did it?
It's
why
something they
does that
say to them in
work?
camp. So that's what I love about the NFL sports in general. Right? You can't be a fraud in an NFL locker room, right? When you got 53 alpha males, fraudulent people get, flung to the wayside. And so clearly they know something about that kid being there a year. Obviously, they know something about him through training camp.
Mhm.
They know who he is as a man, as a person, and they trust him. And so you saw the team rally around him. Like I said, you see Justin Jefferson over there smiling, laughing, hugging him up. And, he really didn't, JJ didn't get him involved until into the fourth quarter, really. You know what I mean? It was pretty quiet for everybody in the first three quarters. And so, when you got one of your mega superstars still smiling and hugging your quarterback, not griping about why aren't you getting me this or like that, it could have imploded, but it just shows the character of the team. It didn't implode. They rallied behind each other. They rallied behind the young kid, and they came back. And then defensively, I think they basically just said, we got to keep giving the opportunities. It's going to, they're going to crack at some point, and they did. And so, defensively it was a totally different game in the fourth quarter as it was offensively.
Tell me more about that, because Brian Flores did seem to like turn the heat up on the stove a little bit. How much credit does he deserve in this win?
Well, a ton, because again, you're sitting back there, and then again, Caleb made some great plays, right? There was about 3 times where we had him sacked deep, and he escapes and makes great plays with his legs and makes some great throws. But, at some point, if you're saying, okay, if we're sitting back and covering isn't working, getting extra time, we got to heat him up. We got to get this guy off rhythm. And I think, Coach Flores did a great job of understanding the situation in the game. Again, understanding, well, the chips are down. We don't really have a whole lot to lose. Let's start, let's start firing bullets over here. And the rush really wasn't that hot to begin with, to be honest with you. And so all of a sudden you start adding pressures, and next thing you know, you start creating some different one-on-one opportunities for some of your top guys. And all of a sudden the pressure gets up. You get Hargrave with a couple sacks. Really the interior pressure is what changed. And so, I think by creating some more blitz opportunities, he created some more one-on-ones for that, were obviously advantageous for the Vikings guys.
I feel like I'm taking a victory lap for like no reason this morning, just because I just met him for I'm not joking, 7 minutes. And I was sold, love him. I would play for him. I'm Javon Hargrave. I'll go get sacks for you. He just has this charisma, this thing. And then he goes after there to be able to pull that up. Who does he remind you of, JJ? Who does he remind you of? Past, present, quarterback you played with, against, not with at all?
I think he's too young.
Giving Tom Brady,
he's too young. He's too young to compare, right? I think that's where you do people disservice. The media, I know that's your job. That is your job, is to compare these young kids to the greats already. I'm not gonna do that. But you know what? I think who JJ was last night was the JJ that people fell in love with through his college career, right? He doesn't need to be flashy. He doesn't need to be a guy that's going to throw the ball for 500 yards, 400 yards, or whatever, right? I mean, I said it to a bunch of people yesterday. I'm like, if we run the ball 30 times against the Bears, we win, right? And so I think you saw exactly what we needed to do. We needed to control the line of scrimmage. You need to run the ball, let him play action down the field. And he was really, really good at that. And then he used his legs when he needed to. So, again, I don't really have an answer to that about who reminds me of. He reminded me of the kid I watched in the national championship game. That's what I saw come out in that fourth quarter. And so for me, I think everybody needs to be uniquely themselves and just go out and play his style of game and let the chips fall at the end of your career where they are. They'll compare you to whoever they're going to compare you to.
It's beautifully said. Amen to that. I wanted to ask you about, or here's what I really want to know, because they didn't even have Jordan Addison. Jordan Addison's a baller. He's a playmaker. He'll come back and so then it becomes a question of what is stopping them? And I think that was my off season. People were surprised that I am in on the Vikings, because they are a complete team. They just need the dude that's going to win the big game in that one quarter, not to mention his 63-1 or whatever, to 63-4-3 record he's had. He's a winner. He's going to win in those big games. 100%. I'm not concerned with that. So what are you concerned with? If you were to keep your eye on one thing where you're like, let's watch this.
Injuries. That's the big thing every year, is injuries. Can we stay healthy? Right. Harrison Smith wasn't out there. Like you said, Jordan Addison, out there for other reasons. But you bring in Adam Thielen, that just shows the culture of the Vikings as an organization too, right? To go out and get a veteran like Adam Thielen, who still has a lot to offer, not just on the field, but what he can do for a young quarterback, in that offense and being able to play a role, and Adam to come back where he's had so much success and be able to play more of a, a subdued role, so to speak, to Justin, and Addison comes back and you got, TJ and all those guys. So, but to me, I thought what really sold me on the Vikings was this offseason. Everybody wants to go out and make splashes in free agency, and they want to do all these, bring in these very, high value targets, so to speak. And they went out and got trenches. They got trenches in the draft. They went out, like you said, you got Hargrave, you got Jonathan Allen. We picked up, interior O linemen, things like that. We drafted well for some depth. So that to me, made me realize, okay, these guys, we're in it. We're in it because they understood where their weakness was at, but not only that, they understood where we needed depth. But the only thing that really concerns me is staying healthy. Right. And then, you can't have too many games like this because the emotional highs and lows will drain you. Defense it was a physical game, obviously. So you'd like to see, the offense control the ball more, keep the defense off the field, things like that, especially when you get later into November and December. But right now, I think if they stay healthy, it's going to be a tough team to beat.
I was going to ask what the effect of this is, in even just considering your own career with these, this kind of a win. It's rare. We don't see it very often. It's a classic. It's a one for the ages. Is this the kind of thing that causes momentum, sets the tone? Do you believe in that? Let's just cut the shit on
absolutely.
that. Or is it, in a vacuum? We never remember week one of any, we really don't, right?
It's I think everybody's gonna remember this week one. I mean, from the Bills comeback to this game, I mean, those were two insanely great primetime games, one on the road, one at home, obviously, right? But no, absolutely. The more games you have like this, you draw on those in those moments, right? So I always say winning and losing are habit forming, right? There's winning habits and losing habits. And unfortunately for teams that win those, those close one score games, they've been in those moments and they have the confidence that they're going to fight to the very, very end. And they know that they're going to have a chance to pull through. And then you got the teams that don't. I always refer back to the 0-16 Lions. That was one of the hardest teams we ever played. We were all terrified to play that team because nobody wanted to be the one that they beat. But what happened was you would get them down and they seemed to then just realize well, we're supposed to lose this. We've been losing all these other ones, and it would kind of snowball. You'd be neck and neck, and then one play would happen and one team would we would elevate and they would shut down. I mean, we had a couple close games with them that year. And but so I think winning and losing habits are equally developed. And so when the more games you win in these tight situations, especially with a young quarterback, you're going to just breed confidence among that team. And confidence goes a long way in this league. Momentum is a real thing. And when you have a belief that you can win no matter what, I mean, it really changes the whole dynamic of the team and the energy you bring to Sunday.
Speaking of losing habits, let's go to the Chicago Bears side of things.
Oh, there you go. Right there.
You just said, you when you brought up and hearkened those 0-16 line, I was thinking they don't know that they can win. They don't know how to win. I don't want to say they're not winners. I don't know. They look so great. They have this collapse. What's your takeaway from Chicago? Did something surprise you? Same old Bears? What was the vibe?
No, to be honest, man, I thought they looked really, really good. I think, to be honest, I think a few things changed, right? You get they got put behind. There was I can't remember what it was the missed field goal, right? I believe. Was there a missed field goal last night? If I'm right. Yes. Right. So there was the missed field goal that put the Vikings back in relatively good position, and they go down and they score, right? And then they get a 3-and-out. So all of a sudden now, they have two bad experiences that compound, and you saw the confidence wane, right? All of a sudden now Caleb Williams seems to be like he's holding the ball a little longer. I still think he needs to get the ball out of his hand, way sooner than he has been. I think that's one of his biggest challenges. I know they put the clock on the game one time and they're like, oh, he's getting the ball out so much quicker. It was like one of them was like 3 seconds. And I'm like, well, that's still about a half second too long to be holding it. Right. So I think, I think you rely on your experiences. People draw on experiences, and Caleb Williams and a lot of those guys from last year still have negative experiences. Chicago Bears as a whole have negative experiences when it comes to winning those tough games. And I think that's going to be something that, the new coaching staff and Kevin Warren as the president, that's a culture that they have to change. And you can only change that through winning and bringing in guys that know how to win, right? You got to bring in guys that have been there, have done that. You got to, whether you got to have Lovie Smith come talk to the team and say, hey guys, this used to be a winning culture here. you got to do something to remind those guys that you can win, and that Chicago is a place that should be feared to come play in, and that is a storied franchise, and that those hard-nosed games. That's what the North is about, and you're going to be in them, and so you better learn to win them.
They have to win. They don't know how to win. They collapse. I don't know how to do it.
They're young. They're young too, right? And so you got a whole bunch of young, very talented guys. And what happened is you saw the difference in the trenches. You saw an O-line and D-line take over the game for one team, and you saw one that was very dominant early in the game either wear down, get right, but it comes down to the fundamentals of stopping the run, right? And I think that was a big shift. Minnesota, all of a sudden, like I said, Caleb was behind the chains. Now you can dial up blitzes knowing they're passing. Now you can force them into different throws based on coverage. And, Minnesota all of a sudden just picking up 5, 6, 7. I think at one point they said they were averaging close to 10 yards a run in the fourth quarter. So, that right there, that's debilitating. So if you can't control the line of scrimmage, you got no hope. And so I think that was the big shift. And so I don't know what the Bears did or put into their O-line, over the offseason over the offseason or D-line, but that to me is where it would start. And again, I go back to my earlier comment. That's when I knew the Vikings weren't screwing around this year. When they said, we're not going after flash, we're going into the trenches. Because that's what cost us. We are going to go into the trenches, and that's where we're going to, really stabilize our organization.
Yeah, and they picked that over future Hall of Famer and Aaron Rodgers, who does look better, right? They said that was a potential to bring him in and have him steward this offense. They clearly saw something in JJ, felt confident this is a team that's in their Super Bowl window. When I asked you what might stop them, I thought you might say the NFC North. I thought you might say Micah Parsons. And this defense, it's no joke. It's no joke. I need your thoughts on this NFC North. It might run through Green Bay this year. They shut down Detroit. Okay.
The North is brutal.
Micah had 29 snaps, bro. This is crazy.
The North is brutal. The North is absolute brutal. You are not lying about that. I think this division, the Bears, clearly, even though they lost, clearly a better team than they were last year. Detroit might be the one that bubble got burst on. You know what I mean? I look at what Detroit didn't do in the run game. More than what obviously that was from the Packers. I think the people that are going to benefit from Micah Parsons' trade the most is, I think number 52, Gary, and some of their interior guys. You have incredible matchups now. Micah's going to get the attention, but now you got these crazy matchups, and they got a running back in Josh Jacobs. So again, it'll come down to, it's a war of attrition. But yeah, I think Green Bay, sent a message. And to be honest, if I'm Green Bay, you handled your business, pretty, I don't want to say easily because it's the NFL, but they definitely weren't stressing. But I look at that Minnesota game and I think, oh crap, these dudes were down and out, and all of a sudden they came back, and they have the ability to score points in high, we have the ability to score a lot of points quickly, right? You saw that happen. So, The North is going to be brutal. It was brutal last year. 14 wins didn't even win us the North last year.
Can't let you. I know it's morning time, but we can't let you waffle. We can't let you waffle around here. Who do you like?
I know. I'll never go.
Who's the team to beat in the division?
Minnesota, clearly.
Your points are valid. To be able to put up points the way that we saw in the fourth quarter, even without Jordan Addison in his first game. If we're talking about Rustin not playing in the preseason, he's only going to get better and more confident. So that is a thing. Yeah, and Aaron Jones crazily might be the factor, and you guys gave him.
I know I'm crazy biased, but Aaron Jones willingly coming back to this team, right, in a role that he's in right now, knowing that they got another running back, right, a bigger body running back is probably going to carry the load more. that says something. He sees something in what his role is going to be in his ability, and I think Aaron played insanely well yesterday. But I go back to this though, by choosing Minnesota over Green Bay. We have a ton of tape on Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers. There's not a lot of tape on JJ McCarthy right now. Right. So in preparation, you're going to do things like that. Sometimes it's harder to prepare for the so-called backup when you're going into a game because you don't know what he's capable of. That's why you'll see guys, take a guy like Nick Foles, greatest backup quarterback to ever play the game. When he's a starter, not so well because you have time to prepare. But you look at what JJ McCarthy did. They thought they had a formula how to stop the kid in the first 3 quarters, and then whether it was adjustments from O'Connell or just JJ outwilling the bad play and bringing himself back to the caliber of guy, person that we thought he was going to be, the player we thought he was going to be. That's tough. Like, so how do you scheme that? Right? How do you scheme for will and determination? So, there's a lot of things that show what's been effective against the Packers in the past. And right now, I would say the book's still open on JJ and how to really shut down that offense.
It's so true. And like the whole scheming thing, but then this Packers defense does look like no joke. I don't know that it was a fluke.
Oh yeah. I mean, listen, you got to block people. You definitely got to block people.
Jahmyr Gibbs doing nothing, getting nothing done barely is like, that was probably one of my bigger shocks of this incredible week 1. We're here with Hall of Famer Jared Allen, and we're on a TV break right now, but I still have more questions for you. We got to get to some of these. Oh, I wanted to ask you about the Chiefs. Okay. So I was in Brazil for this game, watching the Chargers, incredible win by them. And then now we have these back-to-back like bad tastes in our mouths from the last time we've seen this Chiefs time. They've given up 67 combined points. They've given up 739 total yards, Jared. They're arguing with each other on the field. What do we need to happen here? How do we fix this Spags defense? Like, what's happening here? They got the Eagles honestly, this week.
And Eagles look good. The Eagles look real good. You want to know that's the problem with Minnesota. You got to go through the Philly, right? This NFC, the whole NFL, that train still goes through Philly, and Philly does not look like they're slowing down. I'll be really honest. That's a good looking squad. But I think the thing with the Chiefs is, again, I mean, there's a recipe for success. I'm a big MMA and fight fan, right? And I'll never forget when Rich Franklin knocked out Chuck Liddell, right? And then it seemed like nobody was afraid of Chuck Liddell in the UFC anymore, even though Chuck was is probably the greatest fighters of all time in the UFC, right? But what happens is when people see you splinter, right, or you get splintered, when people see like, oh crap, like. The beating the Eagles put on the Chiefs wasn't like, man, that was a tough. They beat them in the biggest game possible, right? And so they lay a foundation of how people are going to attack them. And so unless the Chiefs are willing to go and do a deep self scout and say, okay, we got some aging players here. We need to retool here. We need to scheme wise do some things here. I think you're going to see this because people aren't afraid of them anymore. And that's a big thing, now granted, they've still been to 10 or something straight AFC championship games.
Are you worried about them? Are you out on them?
I am. I was actually worried. I was like, I watched that game too, for the most part, bits and pieces of it, but Travis Kelce really didn't get involved until like the fourth quarter. What happened to throwing to your tight end? I mean, you have one of the greatest tight ends to ever play the game. Why are we not giving him the ball? Why are we trying to spread it to these young wide receivers? What happened to the run game? You got a 1-2 run punch. I mean, I think that's the other thing too is
Patrick led the team in rushing. It was insane. Yeah,
you have such an insanely good quarterback, but don't forget, what made him that good. You still got to, I think that's one thing why Tom Brady, is arguably considered the greatest to ever play at that position, is because he never really left outside the system. You know what I mean? I mean, that dude, they ran the ball. He wasn't afraid of I can remember multiple games and like the Super Bowl where, it's 3-0, 6-0, 10-0, and then all of a sudden they might open something up. But it was like, hey, we're going to keep running the ball. We are going to keep running the ball. We're going to throw to Gronk. We're going to throw to my pieces. So, I think if the Chiefs get back to being, controlling the line of scrimmage, controlling the down and distance, really get, the tight ends involved back in the game, I think it'll open up a lot more. I just over the last couple of years, I feel like they've really spread the ball. And that's great for everybody. But I mean, come on, if I got one of the best tight ends to ever play, I'm feeding him the ball. I'm going to run the ball to get, just to take a little stress off Mahomes. Then I'm going to let Mahomes do what Mahomes does, so.
We actually we have Delanie Walker on the show. I'm sure he'll be talking about that. I want to ask you just a couple more. We have, first of all, I have a couple. Why are you watching football so much? What's going on with you?
No, I just happened to be the right time. Like there was 2 night games, right?
I call
the
BS.
Timing was.
I call BS. You've got notes, you've got numbers. What's happening here? Are we doing a TV career? Are we doing coaching? What's happening? No,
I turned down a TV career. I do. Me and my buddy Fred Minnick are doing a podcast. We're actually going to record our first podcast today. But it's really loosely football-ish.
What is it? Tell me everything.
Fourth and neat. We're going to talk football a little bit. We're talking bourbon, and we're going to go down the rabbit hole on some weird stuff.
I knew it because literally Jared Allen has a. First of all, here's the clues. I'm no Columbo. You have a freaking microphone all of a sudden. You're also I see that you have notes. You've got like rankings and shit on your thing. Sorry, I just keep swearing.
No, I got no notes.
Don't take
No
cues
notes.
from me. I'm over here
I
getting
got no.
kicked
I
off by the
promise you. I
FCC.
promise you, no notes. No notes. I just happened to. And I didn't watch any other games. I happened to watch the Chiefs game because I believe it was.
No,
it was
you
a
were
Friday night
watching.
game.
You're doing your
Friday
thing.
night game.
I knew it.
I got a still trap memory, and then I did watch the Monday night game and the. I'm a Bills. So if you remember, I grew up a Raiders and Bills fan. So when the Bills were playing Sunday Night Football, I had to go back and watch the Bills.
Likely story. I still think you're going to coach somewhere. That's what I was kind of hope. I like the podcast vibe, but I do.
No,
I
mean, again, coaching. I guess
I
I love
know.
teaching. I love teaching players how to play. I have no business being in the office from 6 to midnight. Like, I'm not doing it. My kids, well, they say they love seeing me still. So, I'm down the girls. I am all in on girls volleyball right now. So I'm like the best assistant, random assistant girls volleyball coach you can.
And we love hearing it. I hope nobody on the volleyball team is spitting on each other. That's what happened. That's my last question for you. This Jalen Carter thing. Did you see this?
Yeah, honestly, there's a chance I might suspend. I think spitting on somebody is the most disrespectful thing you could possibly do. There's no place for it. The fact that Dak Prescott had the composure he did, because we're fighting. You spit in my face, like, we have to fight. That's just all there is to it. So I don't know what's going on with these kids, where they think they can just disrespect the game and the people. Like, to spit on a dude in your face. So I just say two things. You just weren't. I mean, you clearly weren't thinking. Jalen Carter he's a force in the middle of that defense. So it's not like you're afraid of the of the Cowboys. You played long enough. I don't know what the point of that was. I mean, because you really set your team back. As a coach, I don't know how you handle that. I wouldn't handle it well, just because I think that is the absolute most disrespectful thing you could do to somebody.
The decision they're weighing Jared is now. I mean, they ejected him, and now it is a looming suspension. Let's put the league hat on you. What are you doing? What's the punishment?
Oh, the league, I'm suspending him 100%.
Like a game, a
game or two. But I mean, you got to remember, if that happens in the parking lot, that's full on assault. Like, you're getting arrested for that. You can't spit on people. It's just, I don't know. Just throwing bodily fluids at people is just gross. Like, enough.
Enough is right.
I mean, you want to punch the guy in the throat, do that. Better than spitting on him. You know what I mean? I don't like, seriously, spitting on somebody.
You just lost me. I was like, wow, Jared, I'm like listening to wow, you should have punched him in the throat. I'm just saying
that I would be like, okay, wow, they had an argument and he lost his cool and he got aggressive with him. I think you could explain that away more, is what I'm saying. But to spit on somebody, to hawk a loogie, that was a massive loogie too.
Ew. I can't even watch it, but I can't. I guess I'm not a boy enough college, to understand.
I'm like, what is this? Is this like a TikTok trend? Now you spit in people's faces. That's what we're doing. Get the hell out of here.
No, it's not. Jared Allen, I can't wait to hear Fourth and Neat. That is an incredible show name, by the way. Congratulations to you, a Hall of Famer. Appreciate your time, your perspective, and congratulations to your Vikings.
Oh, thanks a lot. Have a great one. Thanks for having me on.
You're the best. Talk to you soon. He's got a microphone. Who is he? Jared Allen. Now, Delanie Walker has been around the microphone for years now. He's a 3-time Pro Bowler, 14 years with the Niners and the Titans. You can see him making picks on the Locker Room. It is must stream, must view, must download. Bussin' with the Boys channel. Delanie, how are you? Happy season. What a crazy week one.
I know. It was thanks for having me first off, and it was exciting. I mean, week one was great. It was some good games out there. A couple of teams didn't show up, but we've been waiting on this, and they showed up for us.
Your hair is higher than I've ever seen it. This is how much higher are we going? You're going to be out of the frame here in a minute. That is incredible.
I mean, it's really long, to be honest with you. It probably comes down to like my cheek if I was to pull it down. It's just that hair glue keeps it up.
We love that. The Vikings, I thought, might need some glue to pull themselves together last night through 3 quarters. It was insane. You just heard me talking to Hall of Famer Jared Allen about it. And then I wanted to ask you about JJ McCarthy, right? He has his rushing touchdown. He puts the Vikings up 10, right? Can you 10-0? Can you? No, sorry, up 10. Can you look at this for me and can you rate this block? It's a TJ Hawkinson block. I need you to rate for me.
I mean, hey, that's how you supposed to do it. You don't never give up until you hear that whistle. He knows his quarterback is on the move. You never want your guy to be the guy who hits the quarterback. He finishes, get the quarterback in the end zone. That's what I want to see. If I was coaching him, that was an A+. And that's how you want to do it.
Yeah, and there was that play call in that moment too. Like, don't sleep on Kevin O'Connell. Like in that perfect maestro-y moment, I love to see that. What was the craziest thing you saw in week one? What made your hair go even straighter? Like this was an insane slate.
I mean, it was some crazy games, but I'm gonna be honest with you. The Colts versus Miami. To see Daniel Jones come out there and ball out the way he did to pretty much almost I mean, I don't even know who Miami is right now. It was crazy, and I think that was shocking. You know, I don't watch the Colts, but I had to watch the Colts when I saw that score and saw what Daniel Jones was doing. I'm just happy he got a second opportunity. He's showing up. He's putting points on the board. He led his team to a victory. So, hey, that was big for Daniel Jones and the Colts.
Let me ask you this. You just heard Jared Allen talking about how he's worried about the Chiefs. Everett, Chris Carter, Hall of Famer, telling me he's worried about the Chiefs. I think everybody rightfully is. If you were the Chiefs, Delanie Walker, are you making a call about Tyreek Hill?
Oh, that's a big one. That is a big one. I think
there are rumblings.
Yeah, I mean, right now with the situation of how their receivers are going down, yes, they do have Hollywood Brown, and he did step up. He stepped up against the Chargers. I think if I was the GM and the head coach, I would probably see if I can get him on the team, see if we can make that trade. I know Tyreek Hill may not be happy. I'm not sure. This is me outside looking in. He may not be happy with the Miami Dolphins, so this could be a great opportunity for them to go out there and see if they can snatch him up and bring him back to the Chiefs. They know what he can do. Get him with Patrick Mahomes and let that magic work. I think that'd be a great call for the Chiefs.
He was clearly frustrated. And I honestly, it just came to my head because you said, I don't know what the Dolphins are. And if they don't know what they are and we don't know what they are, then you might as well get something back for Tyreek Hill, who we know what he is. And we don't know, I don't know what the misfit is. You just saw him on the side. I don't really read into that. That's just Tyreek Hill. But I've talked to him. I talked to him at Super Bowl. I talked to him another time this offseason. He has nothing but beautiful things to say about Patrick Mahomes. From his side, he loves that relationship. I would assume, not speaking for him, but based off what he told me, even on camera, that the door, he would leave the door open, I assume. I don't know how it is on the other side, from Patrick's side, but if we're talking about a window wanting to keep a dynasty alive, I mean, this offense was not it. It was not it on on Friday night in Sao Paulo against this Chargers team, Derwin James and company. And I would love to get your perspective on what Jared was just talking about with Travis Kelce, maybe like a lack of targets, that Travis Kelce, he owns the middle of the field. He owns the intermediate game. That's him. What did you make of what's going on there?
You got to think about it like Travis Kelce is the man. Every defense knows that. So once you lose a big-time receiver that goes down, now our focus is on Travis. Okay, they have to try to get the ball to Travis. We're double-teaming him. We're banging him. We're hitting him. Anything we can do to disrupt his route, to keep Patrick and his timing off. That's the thing that, I think people don't see really if you don't play the position. He is the main target. So what do we have to do to win this game? We have to take him out the game. And I feel like the Chargers did that. They were able to take him out the game, but they are the Chiefs. They found ways to get him the ball, to get him in the end zone. And that's things I think they're going to have to do until their receiving core get healthy and then get Rice back off that suspension.
I'm excited for us to retweet this with like emojis when they trade for Tyreek.
Yeah, I mean, if they trade for Tyreek, that'd be big for the Chiefs right now. That would be big. I think they're probably out there looking to see who they can get. They probably calling the Dolphins right now after the Dolphins took that L to the Colts, saying, hey, what do we have to do to get Tyreek? Do you want draft picks? What is it? What do we need to do? So they may be doing that right now. We don't know.
The reason that I love you, Delanie, is that I just went rogue and said, what surprised you? And you went to Colts Miami. Like, yeah, it just warms. It's just why I love you. Of course, that's what you went to. Not Eagles, not Cowboys, not Chiefs, not Chargers, not Bills, not Ravens, any of that. I love that. I do want to ask you, of course, about the Titans. Cam Ward debut against, the best defense in the land, right? Against these Broncos. There were some tough moments. He is a rookie. The box score, not pretty, Delanie. What is one thing that you're sort of taking away from watching or taking a look at that game?
The leadership. You can see the guy he didn't play like a rookie in my book. He was making plays, trying to get the team going. As you seen on that was scrambles, breaks a tackle pretty much, and then tosses the ball to Pollard, gets him the first down. The man is moving out of the pocket. He's still keeping his eye upfield, making plays like that down the field, first down. The sad part is that we have, as players, you have to make your quarterback look good. I feel like he made the throws he needed to make. Obviously, he took a couple of sacks where we need to get the ball out of there, but he is young, and I think he will grow from that, watching film, saying that at those crucial moments, you got to get the ball out of your hands. But we also need the receivers, tight ends, and running backs to make those catches when they come to them. Sometimes you got to bail your quarterback out, and I think for his debut, he did a real good job. Obviously, they didn't walk away with the W, but they were close. And I think the Titan fans should be happy on what they've seen. We were able to put points on the board. We were able to drive the ball down. Yes, we do have to finish in the fourth quarter, but I think that, that's one thing that they're going to be working on this week.
Do you talk to Cam? Are you involved? How involved are you with that?
When I'm up there, I do talk to Cam. I go to the facility a lot. I'm thankful to be able to do that and still have the Titans. They still love me, so I'm thankful for that. But I go up there and I talk to him. But he's a very humble guy. He don't say much. He asks a few questions and go from there. And I love that. That shows a true leader. He's not very me, rah rah kind of guy. He's team, and I think they're going to grow, and I'm excited to see what he do the rest of the season.
What kind of tail did I just see walking by? What is that?
Oh, that's a great Pyrenees. Yeah, that's Ernie.
Love it. I want to keep the tight end talk going. God, I wish you were coaching. I wish you were still playing. It's like all I think when I talk to you. And of course, you're crushing it with everything you're doing with Bussin' with the Boys. But I do want to ask you, I've got a couple of your former teams, and I'd like to start with the Niners. Okay. Injuries. Oh, I could cry. I could pull my, I feel so bad for Niners fans. It's just the thing over and over and over again. Kittle out now multiple weeks. Brock might not be playing against the Saints this week. We could see Mac Jones wearing that whatever he was wearing to the game. I don't even know if you saw that. It was crazy. Ayuk is sidelined. Robert Saleh, amazing, right? We love it. He's back. The defense is great. How much trouble are they in?
Again, that goes with me saying that when you have your receiver core that is injured and you're known for passing the ball, it can be tough. And now missing a key player, tight end, obviously those tight ends, man, when you missing a guy like Kittle, oh my God, that changes the dynamic of the offense. It's going to be tough. And then you got Christian McCaffrey. He's kind of banged up as well. You got that team. But the grit of that team and that defense keeps them in the game, and that's what you want. You want to have a defense that's strong, that's dirty, that fights, that never gives up because, we're struggling on offense. But if we can lean on our defense, we can finish games like they did against Seattle, coming out, finishing that game. That's what you need. Obviously, the team is a little banged up. But if you got good coaching, you got players on the bench that you can put in there and make those plays, that's what the 49ers are good at, using the next man mentality. Who's up next? Come in, get out there, make those plays, because we're going to need you. But the defense is going to be the heart of this team until all those guys get healthy and get back on the field.
And sometimes it works with other guys get opportunities, and that's how you get depth and how you end up in a Super Bowl. I mean, the Niners have always had injuries, and they still make it far. They do that. They're still the favorites, by the way, on FanDuel Sportsbook. Should they be?
Against the Saints?
No, just in the West. They're the favorites.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah. I'm a Niner. I'm a Niner all day, but I'm going to keep it 100 with you. The Seattle Seahawks look good, too. The Seattle Seahawks look good.
To win the division? Sell me on that. Take me through that thought.
I'm just saying.
Over the Rams, Delanie?
No, I'm not saying over the Rams. The Rams looked good too. The Rams look good. It's gonna be tough in the NFC West. Honestly, I feel like every team right now is standing pretty well, played pretty well. Obviously, the Seattle Seahawks lost to the 49ers, but they did look pretty well out there playing the 49ers. Again, the 49ers are the team to beat in this division. We all know that. They are the powerhouse team here. Los Angeles Rams looked good against Houston. Can they keep that up? That's one thing we're going to have to see. Obviously, the 49ers being banged up, I think everybody's going after their head. So it's just going to be fun to watch in the NFC West and see what happens.
But you're smart. You got a little smart. Are you throwing some on Seattle with those odds? Plus 1,000, I think it was, to win the division. That was a compelling case. I could see it. Responsibly, of course, on FanDuel Sportsbook. I think you right now should make the claim. Say they're going to win the West, and when it happens, you get to take that victory lap. I love that for you.
No. On my show, on the locker room, I took Seattle to win the West.
Let's go.
Hey, 49er diehard fans, I love y'all. I'm a 49er to the day I live. But for the show purposes, I took Seattle Seahawks to win the division.
For the show purposes. No, I think you believe in them. You hear that? Look how life comes at you pretty fast, Niners fans. You get one Kittle injury, and this guy jumps ship and goes to Seattle. I wanted to ask you about, of course, Aaron Rodgers, because like everybody wanted to know what that would look like. I know what your thoughts were. That they were on the winning end, 4 touchdowns for him. You know Arthur Smith so well. You're the perfect person to ask this. How much of what you saw in this first game, that's early, how much of it was Arthur Smith's influence, and how much confidence did it give you, and how much they're going to mesh?
Honestly, I want to say I don't want to put it all on Arthur because he's not out there playing. He does call the plays. But, you got a great quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. So when you call a play, Aaron Rodgers is going to make it work, right? That's what you want out of your quarterback. He's a veteran. He knows who he want to go to. He can read the field. He know how to make audibles. I really think Aaron Rodgers is that guy who can make plays. Give him a play, call him, and let him go out there and run it. That's what he's known for doing, and he did that very well against the Jets. Yes, it was back and forth, but at the end of the day, they came out strong. Aaron Rodgers showed up, showed out, put points on the board, and said, I'm still here. Y'all better watch out for me.
Steelers favored to miss the playoffs at -140. Are you with the sportsbook on that one on FanDuel?
Yeah. That was a good game against the Jets. Okay, yes, they did play the Jets. The Jets came out strong with Justin Fields. Everybody didn't know how this dude was going to come out, but he was out there. He balled out. I think that game was so close. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they make the Pittsburgh makes the playoffs.
I love this. And you were just putting it all out there, and I love it. That's why we love the Locker Room with Taylor Lewan, Will Compton, and Clay Matthews on Bussin' with the Boys YouTube channel. We love to see it. Who's doing the best so far? Really quickly, 10 seconds out of you 4. Who's doing the best with the FanDuel?
Right now, I will have to say Taylor. I think Taylor got the best record at the moment.
We can't let that happen. See you, Delanie. Love you. Bye.